In this video, I'm asking two questions to anyone who might watch this video. I'm hoping you'll comment. The questions are about this brilliant move here you see. I'm going to go to the game. I don't feel like I made any brilliant moves. It felt like the move that in this evaluation we're going to watch here that is called brilliant moves, it just seemed like a very normal move to me. I almost felt like I was pushed into it also by my opponent. I didn't feel like I had a lot of choices here. So, it makes me wonder, has chess.com lowered their standards for what makes up a brilliant move? So that's one of my questions for everybody. Have they lowered their standards? It just seems like it's so much easier to get them than it used to be. And also, do you think this move here that the evaluation calls brilliant was brilliant? Because it didn't feel or look brilliant to me. So I want to get through the opening here, and then when we get to the part where I start coming up with a strategy, I want to explain my thoughts. And the reason is, if you understand what I'm thinking, I think you can see how the move that's called a brilliant move, it seemed like I had to play. It didn't really seem like there was too much choice, and that's why it didn't look or feel very brilliant to me. So at this point, I'm still just in the opening here. I have no strategy, no plan at this point. And then when my opponent takes my knight on f5, that's all of a sudden a plan pops into my head. Now there goes my knight on f5. All of a sudden the plan becomes I have the queen on c7 pointing right at the h2 square, and I have the rook pointing right at the h2 square. So after that knight went, the plan is checkmate on h2 with the queen and the rook. So there's a few things I got to do before we get there. I've got to get rid of the knight on my opponent's knight on f3. I've got to get rid of my opponent's pawn on e5, and I need to get rid of my own pawn on h6, which I am thinking is going to be the hardest part of that, because I can control my moves, but I can't control what my opponent does, and I need my opponent's help to get rid of this pawn on h6. So to get rid of that pawn, the plan is to move the bishop on e7 to g5, and then hope my opponent takes it with either this knight or bishop or anything. It doesn't really matter. And I'm going to take back with my pawn, and that's how I'm going to get the pawn on h6 gone. And so here I go. I'm going to move to this bishop to h5, and I want my opponent to take it. Oops, look at that. Mouse slip. That bishop was not supposed to go there. My opponent does not take it, though. They take my pawn with the queen. So now I can, I'm wasting a move. It should only take one move to get my bishop to g5, but I'll get it there in two moves. And you can see it says that was a bad move, the evaluation, but that was the plan. Now I just need this knight or this bishop to take it, and like I said, I think that's going to be the hardest part of my plan to accomplish. They didn't take it there, and of course I had the castle queen side. If I want to use this rook on the h file, I would have moved the rook off the h file if I castled king side, so I had the castle queen side. Alright, my opponent did what I wanted. That bishop's gone, and now I take back with the pawn, and the rook's clear. I just need to get rid of one knight and one pawn, and it's checkmate on h2. Well, that looks like that's going to be easy. That knight's going to be gone. I don't care if I take it. I don't care if they move it. Either way is fine with me. As long as it's gone, it doesn't matter to me whether they move it or I take it. It's gone either way. Okay, one piece of the puzzle left. Get rid of this pawn on e5, and then it's checkmate. All right, that part of the plan's taken care of. Now it's checkmate unless my opponent does something to stop it, and they do. But that's easy to fix. I just take that pawn with my rook, and then move my rook back. And I wanted to move my rook back anyway, but now they've just made it easier. They forced me to. I still want to checkmate on h2 with the queen, but I can't go through this pawn. So instead of checkmating on the diagonal, I'm just going to have to get over to the h file and checkmate straight down it. And I wanted to get off this e file and get over to the h file anyway. And now my opponent just made it an even easier decision. They forced me off it. I would just run straight over if this pawn wasn't there, but it is there, so I have to go down and then over. And that doesn't stop me from going over. That move, you know, I can still move my queen over there, so that affects the plan in no way at all. So there is the brilliant move. You know, this is what I've been trying to accomplish the whole game. My opponent forced me off this file with their rook, so I don't know how this is brilliant. It's just, when I saw that in the evaluation, I was just like, what? That's all it takes for a brilliant move now? It's pretty easy to see. It's checkmate if I move the queen there. I don't really understand. What am I missing here? Do you agree with me this is not a brilliant move? Also, do you agree with me? Well, it feels like it's easier to get brilliant moves now than it used to be, but I don't know if they've changed anything or not. It just feels like it is, but I don't know. Maybe they haven't changed anything. So if you know what they've done there with the brilliant move, if they've lowered the standards there, please let me know. And also let me know if you think that was just a normal move like it feels like to me. That's all for this one. See ya.